Good morning, everyone. Make a friend, be a friend, and bring a friend to Christ. That is a phrase that is very familiar in the Cursillo movement. I don't know if there are any Cursistas out there. Anybody? It was a long time ago. It's a beautiful movement in the church. These days, it takes 3 days. That's the length of the retreat, and these days it's hard to get anybody to even go on an overnight retreat. So I don't know. I hope that the Cursillo movement is still moving forward. But I had a profound encounter with Christ, and that was like 30 years ago on that retreat. Now I'll never forget that phrase: make a friend, be a friend, and bring that friend to Christ. You see this in both the first reading and in the gospel, where Eli, it takes him a little while to recognize what was going on, but eventually, he was able to guide Samuel and say, well, when you hear this voice, then orient yourself towards it because it's God. He was teaching him how to hear the voice of God in his heart, in his mind, and here in this particular instance, more of a miracle of a vocal voice, and that is indeed God. For Andrew, he found the Messiah. And what did he do? He ran and he got his brother, and he physically brought him to Jesus. I think this is a good moment for us to be able to take some time and think about the individuals who have done this for us. Whether it's literally helping us to recognize and say yes to the voice of God in our conscience, in the gift of faith that was given to us in our baptism. It could have been beyond that. When I think about it, for myself, certainly I want to thank my mom. My Uncle John was a big influence. You've all heard about my grandfather, all right? You're going to church. No, I'm not. I went, okay? So who are the people for you that not only encourage your faith, but really helped you to hear the voice of God? I think of two other people. Father Tom, who was a chaplain in the military. And I remember I was walking past, and it must have had a pensive look on my face, because he stopped me and he said, is everything okay? And I was explaining to him how I was teaching CCD, and sometimes, didn't quite connect, sometimes it did. Was kind of worried about one of the students, and just him reaching out started a wonderful friendship. And over that course, he really helped me to listen to the voice of God. Who did that for you? I also think of a good friend of mine, Father John Schnobrick, who's my best friend from seminary. And while I was in seminary, I had made the decision to leave. I had started the second semester, and I told the vocations director, he said, don't leave in the mid-semester, just stay. Stay and let it unfold. I mean, we're paying for everything, so, finish the semester, but why don't you take a summer assignment? Okay. But I remember just having that interaction with John, and he said, oh yeah, you're going to leave? And I said, yeah, I think so. Just that honesty, being able to be honest with another person. And he didn't judge. He just said, all right, well, we'll just take it one step at a time. I finished, and then I went to the summer assignment, and he called, and there was just, again, bringing somebody to Christ doesn't necessarily mean that you're talking about him all the time. Sometimes it just means that you're there, that you encourage the person to be honest with themselves. And in that honesty, a lot of times, in that silence, people hear God speak. And I'm forever grateful for those two people, but especially John, because it was that acceptance of, all right, well, I'm leaving. That's all right. What's going on in your heart? And that honesty really led to listening and hearing the voice of God. And I'm so glad I did, because that's what he's placed in my heart to give, to love as a priest loves. Again, Andrew ran and physically took Peter to the Messiah. Eli said, when you hear the voice, say, "Speak, Lord, your servant is listening." Who is it in your life who loves you, who accepts you, who encourages an honesty with yourself and with them? Who is it that helps you hear the voice of God? Give thanks to God for that person. And maybe today you can tell them